You would have to think long and hard to find an industry which rivals the dynamism, creativity, versatility, art, craft and technical precision of the world's spirits producers. They work with some of the least prepossessing raw materials: potatoes, corn, barley, grapes, agave, berries, fruit and rye, and produce an extraordinary array of beverages. Some of their distillates are ready to be enjoyed the moment they leave the still. Others need years, sometimes decades, to reach their apex of perfection.
You can't escape from the science of the process of making whiskey. Whether it's fermentation, where you cannot distill a good spirit from a bad fermentation, so microbiology plays a big role. Whether it's distillation, where even if you get fermentation right, you can still distill a bad spirit from a good fermentation. So the chemical engineering plays a role. So I think when you've put the science together and you've kind of mastered the arts of fermentation and distillation, and you're confident with that, then you can start expressing yourself with imagination, intuition, and over years of experience, getting an idea of what's going to work and what isn't going to work.
Every decision along the way, what to ferment, when to distill, in what vessel to age, what to macerate, for how long, whether to distill again, how long to age, carry implications which only become fully evident so long after the mash began its fermentation, that often those involved in the harvest, in the peating, in the distilling and in the aging have themselves become part of the spirit world. Clearly then, great spirits are not a product of chance. They are the artifacts of science, of craft, and of the passage of time.
So the really unique thing about gin as opposed to whiskies, certainly the geographical whiskies like Scotch or Irish, and also things like tequila, is it can be made anywhere. That's the really exciting thing. And you can get a sense of place from where you've made it.
Many also become building blocks in the hands of masters in the art of mixology, who, like great composers, take any number of individual spirits and liqueurs to create an edifice greater than the sum of its parts. The Trophy Spirits Show, brought to you by Investec, is the only internationally recognized competition in South Africa exclusively focused on distilled products and liqueurs. As the headline sponsor of the Trophy Spirits Show, Investec imbues the competition with its own dedication to excellence, its own focus on the exceptional. This powerful synergy ensures that consumers as well as producers enjoy both the fruits of the judging process as well as the passion which yielded these masterpieces of the distiller's art. The Trophy Spirits Show shares with the Trophy Wine Show a common DNA of judging rigor. All samples are judged blind, labels out of sight. After the judges have scored a class, they discuss and agree a final result for every sample in front of them. All gold medal winners are reviewed at a separate trophy judging, where an additional external judge adds input to the final assessment. The highest scoring gold medalist emerges as the trophy winner in the class. The highest scoring trophy winner, the best spirit overall. It is hardly surprising that in many categories, no gold medals are awarded at all, and that even in the strongest classes, as many as half the entries finish without a medal. With the 2024 judging behind us, it is worth hearing what this year's panelists had to say about their time at the competition's tasting benches.
So this is the 5th year of the judging of the Trophy Spirit Show, and we've seen a whole lot of evolution rather than revolution. But having said that, what we are seeing is really fine vodka this year. It was great to see, because you may say, what's there in vodka? When you see the purity of the best products, there's no question that there's a gradation in that category. We've seen some really interesting rums. We've seen some great cream liqueurs. I would have liked to have seen a better aperitif class. Get down to the brandy, and we know we have an extraordinary industry that produces world-class pot distillates and they were there on the bench today together with some really good cognacs. And in whiskey we had a really interesting final set of golds where blendeds and grains, which represented 1/3 of the entry, actually had 50% of the gold medals. I'm very excited by what's been achieved at this year's Trophy Spirits Show.
So this was a very interesting experience judging these pot still brandies, and I found a very good quality, a very consistent quality across all of the ones that we looked at. Because I don't know the origin of the spirits that we tasted, I don't know which ones were South African and which ones were cognac or where they indeed came from at all. There were definitely some spirits that we tasted that were a bit richer and a bit fruitier than the others.
I think for Scotch, it's always going to have its history, so that eminence is always going to be there. It's integral to people's choice of having Scotch and their love for it. And at the end of the day, whisky, growth in any whisky across the world could only be good for all whisky. It's fantastic as a blender because it means that we've got some other different varieties that we can look to, we can learn from, and everybody could be getting a new area that they could find that they enjoy whisky from. So for people to be introduced into the category or find new things they like about it, grow their curiosity.
So in the last 10 years, we've seen a great growth in the amount of gin all over the world. And we're starting to see consolidation in some of the more mature markets, particularly sort of the UK, a little bit in Europe. But there's still a lot of growth in places like China and Australia and South America, and who knows what's going on in the US. We're still like fingers crossed hopeful we're going to see a boom.
There you have it. The judging task has been completed. 106 samples across 7 classes, 33 whiskies, 26 gins, 22 brandies and cognacs with vodkas, tequilas, rums and liqueurs, totaling a further 25 entries. And at the end of the day, there were 11 gold medals, 37 silvers, 36 bronzes and a mere 11 best-in-class trophies. The waiting is over and the audit has been completed. The time has now come to reveal the trophy winners and the silver and gold medalists of the 2024 Trophy Spirits Show, to celebrate their achievements, to take inspiration from their dedication, and to revel in their success.